Right, self-help video here, Heatline Monza, but this applies to lots of combi boilers. This one is quite old, had it for a few years, and if you look at the pressure gauge there, it's not on, not running at the moment, but that should be reading where the black mark is, just here, and it isn't. It's reading about, well, it's reading less than 1 bar, and it should be reading 1.2 really. Right, now this isn't because the system has lost water pressure in the radiators, it's because of a different thing. Now there are other self-help videos on this. So that's a T20 Torx, another T20 Torx there. You unscrew them, that means front panel drops down. That releases another T20 Torx there and there, okay? Do not touch the panel, nothing to do with that, not technical. Then you lift the front off, okay? Put that to one side, and in there you'll find a big grey pressure vessel. That's the boiler bit there. There's various taps and things inside, and what we're concerned about is the pressure inside this thing. This is, I think it's called a pressure vessel, and it has a bladder on one side connected to the water, and the other side is full of air, or at least it should be. There's a Schrader valve there, just like your car tyre, Schrader valve. So you undo the cap, okay, and inside there you can see a little valve. Put the cap to one side so you can't lose it, and then you can connect a bike pump, a foot pump for your car, or in our case an air line from the garage, because we have one. So we're going to connect that on, so, and it will give us a reading. It's giving us a reading of 0. So what we'll do, I'll reconnect it, see if we got it right. Yeah, we did. Right, that should not be reading 0, that should be reading 15 psi. So what I'm going to do is put some air into it, and you might hear it going. Yeah. Gone a bit over there, I've gone to 31. I'm going to drop that down. So it doesn't need much to pump it up. And what's happened at the same time there is now this dial has gone up, okay? Because it's a differential bladder. We want it to come down to 50 at 19. So if you're doing that with a bike pump, it's going to take a little effort. 16, dropping down, 15 exactly. Okay, and you can see here, our marker there is now on 1.2 bar, which is where it should be. So it wasn't a lack of water pressure, it didn't need water putting back into the system, it was a lack of air pressure inside this bladder. And you heard then, as I disconnected it, a little bit of air escaped, which is what's gone wrong. Now you don't need to replace this item, we can just keep pumping it up like that every so often when your pressure drops on your front dial. Okay, so I'm not a plumber, but I know how to pump a tyre up, and that's all you need to know to be able to fix that particular problem, if that's the problem you're having. Right, so you check the value, the pressure in there, just with a pressure gauge. This is a fancy digital one, you don't need to have a fancy digital one. Any old tyre pressure gauge will do it, and if it's 0 like that was, as you saw live, then you need to pump it up to about 15 psi, and your system should be happy again then. All right, no call out for you for a plumber, no expensive technical equipment needed. You need a T20 bit to undo these screws, if that's the type of screw you've got. These are just self tappers that go here and here. These are much longer, there's a word for it, I've forgotten the word. Screws that don't fall out, anyway. Captive, that's it, captive screws. So I'm not touching any of the electrics, not touching the gas, all I'm doing is topping up the air in this tank here. That's all I'm done. Right, and it's taken me, well, with the video, it's taken me less than 5 minutes to do that. Simple, free, no £50 call out fee for a plumber. Sorry plumbers. And you know, obviously don't touch anything else, because that's no, don't do that. Don't touch anything else. But all you're doing is topping up the air in that, and that's all a plumber would do, or possibly replace the entire part, or put an external one on somewhere else. You can do that. I've seen that mentioned on the internet, so you could connect a different bladder instead of that one. So literally all that is a water connection there into your system, and then it's just half air and half water. The water from your radiator system. That's all it is. It's a bladder to allow for expansion. Oh, we got there in the end. So expansion bladder is what it is. Otherwise your radiator would go bang if you didn't have one of those. So no more than 15 psi in that. And that will give when your radiator heat up, it will give it some expansion room, because obviously water wants to expand and it can't inside your radiators. It will go bang. Anyway, there you go. That's a weird video for a Sunday afternoon. Doesn't really matter because the sun's shining and it's nice outside. We don't want the heating on, but we don't want it broken when it goes cold. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you like the video. It's another odd one, nothing to do with trains. A bit to do with cars, because I've used a pressure gauge from pumping up the tyres. And as you can see, the kitchen is a mess, of course, I'm always train spotting. Thanks for watching. Bye.